See.
I avoided a difficult conversation for 6 months. By the time I finally had it, the relationship was destroyed. The job was gone. And I learned the hard way that avoiding difficult conversations doesn't make them easier, it makes them lethal.
Wait, so the avoidance itself caused the damage?
Yes, but here's what I learned. Difficult conversations have a framework, 4 steps that preserve the relationship while getting to clarity. Let me show you.
What makes a conversation difficult?
There's a specific type of conversation most people would rather walk through fire than have.
Which type?
Any conversation where you have to say something the other person doesn't want to hear.
Feedback, boundaries, disagreement, the truth.
This is episode 3 of the negotiation series. What are we covering?
Last 2 episodes, salary and promotion.
This episode, the
Conversation most people avoid until it's too late.
the framework?
4 steps. Prepare your position. Start with shared intent. Listen to understand, not respond. End with clear next steps.
What else?
Why avoidance feels safer but makes everything worse. Research shows 57% of people would do anything to avoid these conversations.
Only 57? Feels like 90.
Because the other 43% are lying.
And?
My 6-month avoidance story. What happened when I finally had the conversation? And what I should have done differently from day one.
Let's go!
Before we get to the framework, you need to understand why avoiding feels like the safer choice.
Because confrontation is scary?
That's what most people think. But the real reason is more interesting.
Which is?
We avoid difficult conversations because we confuse them with conflict. But they're not the same thing.
What's the difference?
Conflict is when 2 people fight to win. Difficult conversation is when 2 people work toward clarity.
So one is combative, one is collaborative?
Exactly.
Exactly. When you reframe it that way, the conversation becomes less threatening. You're not attacking, you're clarifying.
Action step?
Think about a conversation you've been avoiding.
Ask yourself.
Am I trying to win an argument, or am I trying to reach understanding?
But what if avoiding actually is safer sometimes?
That's the question that keeps people stuck for months, sometimes years.
So is it ever safer to avoid?
Short term? Yes. Avoidance delays discomfort. Long term?
No.
No.
McKinsey found toxic behavior, which includes unresolved issues, is the #1 driver of burnout and turnover.
So I can avoid the conversation today and have a breakdown in 6 months?
That was my exact timeline.
Okay, so avoidance makes it worse. What's the framework for actually having the conversation?
4 steps. But step 1 is the one most people skip entirely. That's why their conversations blow up.
What are they skipping?
Prepare your position. BE for the conversation. Separate facts from assumptions.
What's the difference?
Fact, you missed the deadline by 3 days. Assumption, you don't care about this project.
So I state what happened, not what I think it means.
Exactly. Facts can be discussed. Assumptions start fights.
Action step?
Before any difficult conversation, write down 3 facts. Then write your assumptions. In the conversation, share only the facts.
What's step 2?
The first 30 seconds of the conversation determine whether it goes well or explodes. Step 2 controls those 30 seconds.
How?
Start with shared intent. Tell them why you're having the conversation and what you both want to achieve together.
Give me exact wording.
I care about our working relationship. I want to talk about something so we can work together more effectively.
That's way different than, we need to talk about your attitude.
Yeah, one invites collaboration, the other triggers defensiveness.
Step 3?
Step 3 is where most people fail.
Even when they get steps 1 and 2 right.
What's the failure?
Listen to understand, not to respond. Most people spend the conversation preparing their comeback.
How do I listen to understand when I'm angry or defensive?
That's the hidden skill in difficult conversations, one most people never learn.
Which is?
Regulate your emotions BE for speaking. Calm creates clarity. Emotion creates chaos.
How do I regulate when I'm already upset?
5 slow breaths before responding. Or if you're too activated, ask to continue the conversation in 15 minutes.
5 breaths? That seems too simple to work.
And so did I, until I tried it. Your body can't stay in fight or flight when you breathe slowly. Physiology beats psychology.
Action step?
Yes.
Next time you feel defensive, count 5 slow breaths before speaking.
Notice how your response changes. What's step 4?
The step that determines whether the difficult conversation actually solves anything.
Tell me.
End with clear next steps. Who's doing what? By when? No ambiguity.
Why is that critical?
Because ambiguity breeds repeat conflict. You have the hard conversation, think it's resolved, then nothing changes and you're back where you started.
So the conversation isn't done when it's done?
It's done when both people know exactly what happens next, and when you follow up to ensure it happens.
All right, your 6-month avoidance. The full story.
I had a manager who kept taking credit for my work. First time it happened, I told myself probably just a miscommunication.
But it kept happening? Month 2, month 3, month 4.
Each time, I convinced myself the next presentation would be different.
Why didn't you say something?
Because I convinced myself that avoiding the conversation was the professional thing to do, that bringing it up would make me the problem.
Let me guess. By month 6, you exploded?
Worse, I didn't explode. I froze.
What happened?
Month 6, big client meeting. Manager presented his strategy, which was entirely my analysis. I said nothing, went home, quit the next week.
What? So the avoidance cost you the job?
Avoidance cost me the job, the relationship, and 6 months of resentment. If I'd had the conversation in month 1, everything would be different.
Action step?
Think about what you're avoiding right now. Ask yourself, how much worse will this be in 6 months if I don't address it?
Have you had to have this conversation since?
Yes. Different manager, same situation. This time, I used the framework. Day 1 when it happened.
And?
I prepared my position, facts only, started with shared intent. I want us to work well together. Listened to his perspective. Ended with clear agreement about attribution.
Did it work?
5-minute conversation. Issue resolved. Relationship stronger. Because I chose clarity over avoidance.
Let's recap the framework.
Step 1. Prepare your position. Separate facts from assumptions. Share facts, not interpretations.
You missed the deadline. You don't care.
Step 2. Start with shared intent. First 30 seconds set the tone. State what you both want to achieve together.
I care about our relationship. We need to talk about your attitude.
Step 3. Listen to understand, not respond. Regulate emotions first. 5 slow breaths if needed.
Step 4. End with clear next steps. Who's doing what by when? No ambiguity.
And remember, difficult conversations aren't conflict. They're clarification. Here's what 6 months of avoidance taught me. The conversation you're avoiding right now, it's already happening. In your head, in the other person's head, in the growing resentment between you. The only question is whether you control it with clarity or let it control you with silence.
So having the difficult conversation isn't the risk? Avoiding it is?
Exactly. Avoidance feels safe, but it's the most dangerous choice you can make.